Now, Mheshimiwa, we want to look at the promises that the country is often enough treated to, right? So, and we start this from, say, the campaign period. The campaign period, you find that the presidential candidates would come with a manifesto, which would be the promises to the people on what they want to do to them, for them rather, right? They want to get in and give them this service. If it's about healthcare, education, development, making sure there is equality, security. These are promises that Kenyans are given. And you'll also look at members of parliament. You'd also go and tell your people, I want you to elect me because these are the issues in the basket that I want to deliver to you as my people, MCAs, governors, senators. It is all a plethora of promises that Kenyans are treated to. But with that, then there is now the implementation aspect of these promises, where now rubber meets the road. When you expect that we finally gave you the rights to represent us. Now we want you to deliver. And this is where citizens hold leaders accountable to their promises. How would you rate it? How would you rate it in terms of achieving or implementation of these promises from, say, a national perspective?
Now, thank you so much. You've raised a very important matter, the issue of promises we make during the time of campaigns. And actually, in simple terms, call them manifestos.
Yes.
So you hear that everybody has a manifesto. This party has this manifesto. But in technical language, we call them development blueprints, or you can call them strategies, strategic plans, so that within a time frame, for example, it's 5 years. You say in this time frame, I will be implementing this for you if you elect me as your leader. And normally, what would happen is once you're elected, if you really you are a smart leader, you should work within your manifesto. And normally what would happen is in every manifesto, there's something called implementation matrix at the end.
Yes.
That matrix will give you an indication of what will be the output and what will be the budget. Now, what has happened over time, once we assume office, we tend to push this document to the back burner. And we take advantage of the fact that the people who elect us don't really follow it at all. And I've said many times, if you looked at the evaluation of the Kenya Kwanza government 3 years after being in office, they were given out of the about 270 indicators, performance indicators, what they said they will achieve. They'd only done about 34, which was about 5% of implementation.
Yes.
So actually, even if anybody cares, look at the implementation matrix without thinking about where you come from. That is without caring about our regional politics, our tribal politics, and other external things outside the manifesto. Then automatically, anybody who scores 5% in year 3 of implementation says even if you work as hard as what, you can only go up to a maximum of 20% or 30%. And that will imply that then you will be a candidate for failure. You should be kicked out of office. But you'll be surprised now, even in our debates here, people don't ask us, so what were we promised and what has been achieved? We only pick very few things out of the manifesto and say we have achieved this, and it's not measured. And there's this common saying, if it's not measured, it's not done. So if I said I will do 1,000 kilometers of road for this region, and I've done only 2, it definitely have failed. But you realize I nobody now wants to talk about the quantities. We are talking more of the generalities, say 1,000 kilometers. And these are things we are saying, I think for the next election, if we really want to be fair to ourselves as Kenyans. Now, the issue of accountability comes in. And I've said accountability is something, it's not a choice. You know, if you look at our constitution, Article 10 of the constitution talks about governance and leadership. Chapter 6 talks about
ethics.
Chapter 12 talks about public resources. How you should be accountable when you're using public resources. Now, if you look at those 2 chapters and 1 article, it tells you that for any Kenyan leader, accountability is not a choice; it's mandatory. So once you get to an office, you should be accountable to the people who have put you in that office. Unfortunately, it's well said than practiced. So you find very few of us really come out and be accountable. And I can quote a number of situations where we run away from accountability. When we are raising the Bible to take the oath, we say I will be true to the Constitution. But really, once you put it down, it becomes like another book. And I think these are the issues we are raising. So I totally agree with you that if you are a leader in this country and another place, and it happens all over the place, accountability is not a choice. So we should be accountable. If you make promises, you must be able to fulfill your promises. But the challenge we have been having, and I think this is now what I would challenge those of us who are scholars and those who have gone to school to move to the next level. I think before the next election, we need somebody to sit down and take the manifesto of this government, because they are the people who are now ruling. You know, we can't take a manifesto of somebody who lost.
Yeah.
They were not given the mandate. And look at that manifesto and tease out what were the performance indicators of this government and indicate what has been achieved and what has not been achieved. And with that, then you can publish it. Then we publish the things and say, these are now objective. These are the objectively variable indicators which have been achieved by this government. Now you tell Kenyans, on the basis of this is not the performance. So as you think about other factors to consider as you elect this government back or you kick them out of the government. Now this is the scorecard for them based on their manifesto. I think that now will start helping the country because now especially where the manifesto has not been achieved then, and we have seen this trend since this year, where you realize that now we seem to be shifting from the earlier promises and coming up with very new aggressive promises. Wherever you go, when you get this visitation to different places, you realize now there are new, very major promises coming, and the other ones have not come. And looking at our economy, where we are, and the resources to implement those promises, I can tell you it's going to be a huge challenge. But we are used to uncosted promises. So when you don't cost them, you can promise anything. The way to go is cost your promises, see the bigger picture in terms of budget, and then you can promise.
You can promise.
Yes.
Well, there you